Morning everybody. Today I'm going to talk about the 9 tips to building a successful business. I'm going to base this on my journey and what happened to me over the many years, and hopefully I can share some of that journey with you and provide you with some tips that I discovered the hard way and make your journey easier. And I suppose my journey started as a typical business owner with really no idea, no money, no capital, and just trying to offer anything I could. I thought I had a good idea. The market disagreed with me, and the market is the best source of truth out there. As I started to offer stuff, gradually over the next year to 2 years of that startup phase, a couple of things started to work, a couple of things didn't. When I realized what did work, and I realized that there was a certain product that we had that if we focused on that, and this is where the first time we sort of focused on, or I focused on, trying to become the world's best at doing that. Not just average, but being the world's best. And that took commitment. So that took commitment and willpower to sit down and night after night develop this product, develop my expertise to build this. And we eventually became the best in the world at a business planning software product that we released to the marketplace. We then I learned the art of how to sell, how to get leads coming in, looking at the funnel. We ended up marketing, so spending $100,000 a month to drive this product up. We shipped over 40,000 units of software, and then I sold the business to a multinational. Many years later, I actually bought the business back from a multinational at about 5% of what I sold it for. So it was a really interesting journey, and I think a journey that I'm exactly like most people listening to this, with a business, with an idea, working hard, and just through a streamline of events and streamlining the business, creating a very, very successful business and doing what less than 5% of people are able to do. So the first tip I've got is to understand where you are in the business life cycle. You've got to understand where you are in the business life cycle. If you're in that first phase, I call that the nightmare phase. And that's where it's really a reality check. The market, as I said, is a single source of truth. If you don't give the market what they want, and the market will determine, and they'll rip you apart if your model isn't good, if you're not delivering at a service that they want. So that's a really, really tough phase. You've got no cash, no money. If you haven't been lucky enough to get capital injection in, it's a very, very tough phase to get through. If you get through that phase, then you've got to learn, or I call the next phase the survival phase. And that's where you sort of got through, you're now offering all sorts of things. 1 or 2 people are starting to buy something that you're offering. So whilst you might be broadening your offer just to survive, 1 or 2 people start to offer it, and you start to think, hey, this can work. Your sales start to go up a little bit, and there's a little bit of, wow, this can all work, and I can build a business to some extent. The next phase is critical, which is that growth phase. So you've got your product, you're exercising, you're experimenting with your offer and everything else, you're putting money in, you're still not making money at all, and then you go through your growth phase. Now your growth phase is where you get the hang of marketing. You've got to be able to systemize your marketing. We go to the scale phase afterwards, but the first part is you've got to put money into marketing. You've got to, you may have the best product in the world. If you don't know how to market it, then it's all going to blow up for you. So you still got a bit of a shoestring budget. You're pouring everything back into the business. And this is where, for the first time, you're going to start to delegate to employees. And as a business owner, you have to understand the biggest, most successful thing you can do in this phase is be able to delegate. Yeah, and you'll go through this "they're not as smart as me" syndrome. And what you need to do is you need to adopt, and I've got that little curve downwards, because as you start to employ people, it takes your focus off the bottom line, but training those people will give you that shoot up. So you need to be able to delegate. And the next phase I call the scale and systemize phase. And that's where you've put in place systems on a shoestring budget. You really haven't been too concerned about it. You've just been driving the business forward as quickly as you can. Now it's time to back it down and really look at good systems in place. How can you get a good employee management system? What systems and processes can you put in place? And in this scale phase as well, our business will hit a plateau unless we know how to scale that marketing. And so we need to, the first level of getting the business up is just getting the basics and the fundamentals of marketing right. Then we need to scale it. We need to get it on a larger scale, and that will give you the extra drive up into a super business. And then of course, you've got and over 50% of business owners are now over the age of 50. So a lot of you may not have thought about whether or not you're going to sell the business, about retirement and all the rest. This selling your business is a completely different mentality. I got the best in the world to teach me how to sell the business, and we went through a journey of preparing the business for sale, which I think maximized the value of the business, definitely, and thinking of value instead of profit improvement. It's a completely different way of saying. We also got to look at how we, what is it about the business that's valuable that somebody else will want to buy. And then of course we've got the retirement phase, and in my retirement phase, and what happens to a lot of business owners is your identity is sometimes tied up with the business, and you haven't prepared for that retirement phase. So what you've got to do is, so my first tip is understand where you are in this life cycle. In the growth phase, don't try and suck money out of the business. Keep it all in, just keep investing in the business. Put it all back in. If you have a good month, invest it in. And one of the things is systemizing. People talk about systemizing your business. I talk about systemizing and scaling your marketing as well. This is what success looks like. Most people think that success is from here to here. What it really looks like is it's a journey. You've got to keep your eye on the prize, but it's a journey that's going to involve going backwards and forwards, hitting against a wall over here, and adapting. You have to evolve, and so it's complex. When you hear my story or stories of other people out there that have had a successful sort of start to finish sort of process, you think it's a linear. It's not. It's going to be hard work. It's going to go. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye up here. Keep your goals ahead and strive towards them. And you're not going to get there with a negative headspace. You've got to have positivity around you. I can't control my family. I can't control my friends, but I can control my staff. And anybody who's ever worked for me will see, if they go back to their contracts, whether it was 20 years ago or 6 weeks ago, the contract has a positivity clause that says that your engagement with our company is on the basis that you are a positive person and that you will act in a positive nature. Now, not legally enforceable, but it sets the standard. And I want a standard. I want to surround myself with positive people. And we have to be positive. And the more positive we are, the more resilient we are. Because as business owners, and your employees will also go through the same thing, where they're going to be hit down time and time again. And sometimes I think it's about attitude. First of all, you've got to have a successful mindset in order to persevere and be resilient. The other thing I think is that I remember playing footy. I was playing first grade footy, and I got hit down. I got up slowly, showing a lot of pain, got hit down, got up slowly, showing a lot of pain. In those days, footy, as it is, tough guys, suck it up, princess. And then it's funny, because when you do get up and you just say, hey, that's a part of what's going to happen. If I'm going to play first grade, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to be knocked down time and time again. So I think that what we need to do is to sometimes say that to ourselves, your sales are going to go down. Competitors are going to come into the marketplace. All sorts of things are happening. Suck it up, princess. It happens. Adapt, evolve. And if we can learn to adapt and evolve and just learn, do not expect that everything is going to go right. Expect that everything is going to go wrong. And then when it goes right, we celebrate that. So we've got to evolve. I love Rocky Balboa. So people have got Plato and Aristotle as their philosophers. Yeah, well, I love Rocky. And Rocky has done a brilliant job. And I think if we listen to this I think is a great message from Rocky.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Yeah, so to me, that I play that to staff, I played it to my family, to my kids. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful expression that we need to drive through it, and life will continually cut you down. So I think the other thing in this area is, and I'll have to go back and through my hardest times in the business, and I have to go back and think, why did I start the business? Did I start the business because I wanted to work twice as hard as everyone else for half as much pay? To be stressed and sacrifice lifestyle and family at the expense of a continual, never-ending, unsatisfying journey along a railroad? Or did I have a dream? Did I have a passion, but I wanted to work for myself? That's what happened. Remind yourself why you're there, and when you're in the process, I don't know where you are in terms of the phases of your life cycle, but remind yourself of why you started, and I think that's important. It starts with attitude and passion. If you've lost the passion for your business, if your employees have lost the passion for working there, then ask your employees to leave. You should get out. Revive your passion. If you've lost it, get out, but revive it. If you can revive it, because you can't. We work too long. Life's too short to not have a passion in what you do. And I think, and my cousin said this to me when I first started the business many years ago. He said, "Are you the best?" And I sort of said yes, as you would if anybody asked you that question, but I didn't believe it. And it wasn't until probably a year later that I kept thinking about that. Am I the best? And that's why that hit me in that second year of running the business, where I thought, I want to be the best. Now, you can't be the best in everything. And if you're competing against big competitors out there, you cannot be the best, and you cannot undo what they've done over 20 years. But you can be the best in a small niche. I like to narrow it down. Get a small niche and be the best. Be passionate about being the best. You're not going to be the best without hard work. You need to continually, think about it, to think about the business, to think about how you can improve, to come up with development. We run through, there's a whole lot of ways to innovate all the time, and one of them is to ask your employees, another one is to look at your competitors, what they're doing, another one is to look at the market and ask your customers. So there's a whole lot of ways that we can find out what customers think of our product. Be the best. Keep focusing on improvement, on continual product, and as I keep saying, don't suck all the money out of the business. Pour it back in to development until you get to a scale where you can scale it, and that's most important. You've heard it before, work on the business, not in the business. How do you do that? Well, I started doing this back when I first started running the business. Best thing I ever did, and I was absolutely religious about it. And that is to work on, I take Wednesdays off and I work on the business on Wednesdays. Now that means that I get my contracts, my proposals, my strategies, I do my tax. I also find that, and by the way, I'm not playing golf, and the employees will tell you, it's not playing golf, it's not surfing. I might have a longer lunch where I sort of go for a longer surf or a run or a swim or whatever, but it is the most focused day, and one of the days that I work the hardest in continual, and I achieve so much. And you ask any of the employees that I've had over the last 20, 25 years, that Thursday mornings they come in with all these ideas and strategies and way forwards, and often I'm sort of lumping on, we've got to do this, we've got to do that, and I get all excited again, and it rejuvenates me. I think the other thing is that running a business is stressful. It is stressful, and if you as a business owner can take one day a week that's out of the norm, and it's really mixing up, where you've got one day a week, so instead of being bombarded with calls and people and staff and that, you've got one day that's quiet. It's just quiet, and it's great, and you focus on what you do to need to get on. It just helps you to focus on the top side. So take Wednesdays off as the next one. Spice up your marketing, definitely. Here's a great example, but your marketing is everything. There are a lot of great mousetraps out there. There are a lot of great products out there. I think Australia has some of the world's best products, but are we the world leaders often, and are our businesses the best in the world? Probably not, because we're not, and sometimes we don't get the right marketing. The US is fantastic at marketing. They spice it up, take some lessons from it. Look at these couple of examples. Harley Davidson. I think this is absolutely brilliant. Obviously appealing to an older generation in the one on the right, who still want to be out there and young and useful and still have that attitude. That would really appeal to that segment. And then look on the left at the other ad. Completely different, appealing to a completely different segment. So think about who you take. You've got to connect emotionally. You can't just connect with the words of buy me and mine, I got the best product, without connecting emotionally. Connect with your segment. Find out who is your segment. Don't think of all your customers as a single sort of person or type of people. Your customers that buy your product have got different segments. Work out who they are. Who are these segments? Then go through each one, and as an exercise, who are they? What do they want? When do they buy? How do they buy? Why do they buy? And then come up, how many campaigns have I run to that segment, and run the campaigns. And when you run the campaigns, get sexy about what you do. Spice up your information. Here's a couple of examples that I use. I never have been very good at reading books and trying to read theoretical books, but you give me a little sheet or an example, I'm much better at doing it. Here's something that I put together a long time ago to help me to spice up my marketing. So I've got these key phrases there, and then for any business or for ourselves or any product, I can sort of add in 7 things to know before buying a car, 7 things to know before going to an accountant, 7 things to know before selling a house, 10 things not to do when selling a house, 22 secrets to selling a house, 9 critical mistakes that people make when they sell a house. So you can change in those words into the blank spots, and I find that that's good. Key about that is, and this is 101 marketing, is that you've got a mass market out there. You've got a mass market out there. You've got people out there. If I send a letter off to 10,000 people or 20,000 people or 100,000, how many people are going to open the letter and what percentage are going to come through? We're going to talk about that in a sec. But what I'm getting at is there's a lot of people out there. So it's very expensive targeting people that aren't interested in your offer. If you can put spicy information out there, like 10 things to know before selling a house, that will bring, or people that will engage you in that and give you their name and details are obviously interested in selling a house. 8 things to know before buying a computer. People that engage with that want that information, are going to want to buy a computer. So then you've got a much smaller list. You're targeted down to a smaller list, and with that smaller list, you can focus more marketing effort to win them over to your customer, to win them over to your company. Understanding, next tip is to understand that it is not you that's going to build your business. Although you think it is, it's not. It's your employees. You have to engage your employees. Research says that 33% of employees are engaged. That means that the majority of employees are not engaged. That means they don't really want to be there. They're not doing the best for you. They're not thinking about your business. They're not passionate about you. Do you want those people working for you? Well, I'll tell you, a lot of the reason why employees aren't engaged is because of you and your business and your model and the way that you've engaged and you speak to and you respect those employees, So I always say, first of all, start off with a positive and rewarding culture. It's always start off with. And I always say to people, set the tune right from the beginning. If you want to work for our business, we are a high performance business. If you want to work for us, you want to be the best. We don't want to hire people that think they're the best already. We want to hire people that want to be the best. We want to hire people that aren't just going to sit on that chair, but are going to work at it. And if when you finish this job at this company, you will think in a different manner. You will be so strong, and it will be such a head start in your career that this will be the best thing that you've ever done. That's how we set the standard. We have a high performance company, and you need to abide by it. Secondly, we've got a series of things. So that's not going to work unless you've got the fundamentals. So how do you have the fundamentals that you need are respect and communication. They're the fundamentals. How do you achieve that in a business? In what's called a high performance employee management system? You achieve it through, well, this is how we achieve it. I've done this for 25 years and it works. And every business that I've talked about has always called me up and said, Pete, that absolutely worked. So what do you need to do? One, have a one-on-one meeting with your employees once a week. Now, once your business gets bigger, you set up team leaders to have that one-on-one. Do you know what you ask? What did you achieve last week? What were the one or two things you achieved last week? And what are the one or two things you're going to achieve this week? So it's a one-on-one meeting where, and then, you know what's great about that? You can sort of say, oh, that's right, I forgot you did that. That is fantastic, well done. Well, that was good, that was absolutely great. It also reminds you of what their current product group needs to do or to achieve by having that continual flow. So we have a system where we can see all the past things they've done as well, so we see the folks. Now, I don't want to know everything that that staff member has done or needs to do as part of their job description. But all I want to know is what are the two things you're going to do this week that's going to take us forward. So that's the first one-on-one. And that is wonderful. It's a chance for me to say, well, look, refine the priorities of the business. One of the other things is, as a business owner, how do you train people to think like you? Well, this is the greatest training you can have. When employees start at the business, their priorities are over here, your priorities are over here. After you do this one-on-one engagement where you say, what are the two most important things you need to do this week? And then you sort of talk about it, there starts to be an alignment. It starts to be an alignment of priorities. They're starting to think more like you, and that's beautiful because your goal is to get out of it. Your goal is to have them to run the business. So the second thing is Tuesdays at 8:30 a.m. and if anyone's trying to ring the company at 8:30 a.m, we don't pick up. And the reason why we don't is because we are all in a staff meeting. We've been doing it, as I said, ever since I started to run the business. It is the most powerful thing. And at that meeting, we get a chance to remind everyone we've got a campaign that's launching. We've got this product that we're developing. We've got to meet that level of compliance, etc. So there's all sorts of things that we talk about in that staff meeting. We also have in that, now, by the way, they start at 8:30. We actually give them back half an hour on a Friday. So if you take half an hour from an employee, as a matter of respect, you should give them back that half hour. So on Fridays, the staff are allowed to leave at 5 o'clock. So that's a good balance as well, and the staff love that. The next part about it is a monthly meeting where the report of the key managers have to report on their performance, and all employees have to have some monthly wrap-up. And then once a year, we have an annual performance. Now, if you've only got an annual performance once a year, it takes from here to communicate your objectives and to find out what went wrong. If you've got weekly conversation, you're making sure that everybody's on the right track on smaller increments. Very, very important. That works. Implement it in your business. Strongly recommend it, or something similar. How do you automate the business? Well, if a question has to be asked, write a policy and procedure about it. So, like typically it's Christmas and you're trying to work out how do I put an alternate message on for Christmas as you go away. It should be in the policy and procedures manual. You've got a new employee that's starting. What should they be doing? The first thing when they start, they should be reading the sales policy and procedures, which says, how do you enter data? How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do that? That's the policy and procedures. That will save you. Okay, so it's time consuming to put together? Absolutely. But all good businesses have it. And, so if you're thinking of selling your business, would you buy a fridge or a go-kart or whatever without a set of instructions? You wouldn't. So no one would buy your business if it didn't have a set of instructions. So two reasons for it. One is it's going to improve your productivity overnight if you've got that policy and procedure. It's going to save time. It's going to stop annoying questions. It's going to get a foundation of a best practice in the organisation, and it's going to lift your value as a business for when you do sell it. Absolutely wonderful. Don't procrastinate. Make decisions. Too much, I think sometimes we do. We put off. So first of all, when those emails come in, and I get 150, 180 emails, reply straight away. Often you can make a decision. Now, one of the things I discovered many years ago is that in business, I'm right about 90% of the time in my initial gut feel. So once I recognize that I was right 90% of the time making a decision, then it's easy to start making decisions. So what you say is, well, my gut feel is I should do it like this, let's do it like that. Now, what I'm saying is, I'm going to be wrong occasionally, but I've speeded up the decision-making process. The business is a lot better off. We move faster as a business, but occasionally you're going to be wrong. You've got to accept the ref's call. You've got to accept sometimes you're going to make bad decisions. And never be a business owner that can't reverse a decision. You've got to hold your course, but reverse your decision. And make sure all my decisions I involve the staff. And that's part of our entrepreneurial attitude in here, where I get them to try and make the decisions. I get them to see where they are, and then I take the right to overwrite their decisions, but it's good to get them involved in that decision-making process as well. Bring your A game. Try to bring your A game into work. Business is tough. It is if it was easy, everybody would be rich. Bring your A game into work. Don't be, and sometimes it's easy to coast. Sometimes when you get the business up to a certain level, it's easy to coast. And you start to back it off, and you're not thinking about things like you should be. You don't make sure that the systems are in place and the simple compliance and all that sort of stuff. Bring your A game. It's a tough environment out there, and it's amazing how quickly, if you take your eye off the ball, that somebody like a competitor, somebody like employees, that start to get a bit disgruntled, or it starts to set the standard in the business. So as the business owner, bring your A game and build that high performance culture. We talked a little about that. It starts with the recruitment, as I said, building that high performance culture. But start saying it. We are a high performance business. Start saying it to your staff. We are, put a stick in the sand and say, from this day forward, we will act like we are a high performance business. If you don't believe you have been, start it up next week, next Monday, next Tuesday, and say, this is what we're going to do. High performance business have these characteristics. We haven't got those characteristics. How can we expect to be a high performance business? So start from tomorrow, next week, but start building the culture. High performance businesses are positive places to be. A high performance business is where I want to be. Even when I'm retiring, I want to be around people that are going forward, that have got passion, that have got energy. That's what we need to have. You need to be a quality cog as well. And your staff need to be quality. You need to train up your staff that if a mistake happens, or if they're in charge of a product or a production line or marketing or accounting, that they should see stuff. It's up to them to be able to find and say, no, that's not good enough. That falls below our standard. So set a standard, set a benchmark, set the attitude in place that you are high performance. And it's all about teamwork. Make sure once you set, and this is the interesting part, once the business becomes a high performance business, then they start to pull each other. They really start to drive each other. And it's been said that with football teams, soccer teams, any sport out there, that it's the winning culture. It's when the staff or the players themselves start to have some leaders in place, but start to drag everyone else, that there is a set of standards that get put in place that drags the whole business. And that may not, and your goal is not to have it driven by you all the time. You don't want to be pushing all the time, but you want to have your staff pushing. And if someone falls down, if someone's not doing the right thing in the business, wouldn't it be a wonderful thing if your staff said to them, hey, pick your game up. That's not good enough at our company. And that's the goal. Know the numbers. Try to know the numbers. I learnt this right from the very beginning, only because I almost starved to death in trying to build that business the first day. As I said, nothing worked to start off with. It was a nightmare. And then one or two things started to work, and then knowing the numbers. So marketing, know the numbers. I think I always count how many live people I got and how many dead people. Terrible way to express it, but how many live people is how many people are selling the product. So I get my staff and I work out, right, how many people cost me and how many people make me money. Now I know that production and programs that make me money, but just in this simplistic analysis, I want to have this many people that are in that sales, marketing, or go fetching money into the company. So that's number one. Number two is know the numbers in terms of your campaigns. As I said to you, that scale phase comes when you can really systemize your marketing. So let's say use the example that we've got here, which is from Carl Palachuk, where he's got a funnel here and he talks about, let's say there's 10,000 letters that have been mailed. Over 10,000 letters been mailed, only 1 in 10 will be opened. Therefore, 1,000 will be opened out of 10,000. Let's say 3% respond. Well, that means that you've only got 30 that are responding. Out of the 30, let's say you had a meeting with 33% of them, and let's say you had a 50% close. That means that from a 10,000 mailer that would cost you somewhere about $12,000 to $15,000, you're going to win 5 new clients. You need to know your average value sale. You need to know the average value sale over the lifetime of that customer as well, to be able to work out whether or not that is successful. So you can do campaigns as branding exercises. But if you're driving revenue in the business, and this is purely a revenue driving exercise, if your average value sale is $500, you cannot do direct marketing. If your average value sale is $50,000, maybe you can, or you definitely can on these numbers. So know your numbers. In terms of your website, how many web visitors come to your website? What's the percentage that actually put their information to your website? And then what's the percentage from there that you then close and return? So know the numbers, very, very important. Scorecard everything. Absolutely, I scorecard everything, but also take some time out of the business each month. So get together with, if you're the business owner, you could take a key staff with you. You could take your partner in life with you. You could have someone external to the business to help you, but take the time and set this discipline where once a month you will report on your business. What were your major successes last month? What were your major obstacles? How did you perform in each of the most important KPIs? Now, your KPIs, key performance indicators, need to not just be sales and profit. It has to be financial and non-financial KPIs. And we do, have a look at the balanced scorecard. I love the balanced scorecard, at the way that Kaplan and Norton express that 4 quadrants. So what you want to do is build a scorecard, a 1-page scorecard, and be accountable to that each month. And that will, if you can do that, if you set the right KPIs in this and you start monitoring, just because you're monitoring, I guarantee you your performance will lift. Absolutely guarantee you, if you're not doing that already. Most small businesses, so 95%, 100% of large businesses monitor financial and non-financial KPIs, like customer, like employees, like production, etc. In terms of small business, I would say that 90% of small business do not monitor the non-financial KPIs. So if you're a small business, you want to drive to a high-performance business, start monitoring your business and take it out and have like a board meeting once a month. Think of it like a board meeting once a month. Very powerful. Remember also that it's a personal journey. All of a sudden you get, and the trouble is that you're going to move up this business. You're focused, you're in the business, you might be working, I don't know how many hours a day you're working, you might be working 8 at a minimum, you might be working 10, 12, 15 hours a day. You're going to be focused on your business, you need to be focused on your business, but remember that you've got to focus and you've got to give time to your family. You've got to give time to yourself. You do not want to end up with, as soon as you end up with a health problem, a major health problem, then that's when the penny drops that, wow, and stress. Too much stress causes it. So stress, and one of those best techniques for stress is to meet up with people, meet up with your friends, meet up with your family and all the rest. So keep yourself active and healthy. I always sort of say, I train 5-7 days a week, so 5 hard sessions a week, absolutely guaranteed, 1 hour hard sessions a week. And then I have, my soft sessions might be swimming 1 kilometre or it might be walking for 45 minutes. So we all have different standards. I know a lot of people don't do that much exercise, and a lot of people probably do more exercise than that, but that's my standard. And I make sure I do it in the morning before I get distractions, and I come into work and I love it. And that is one of the best stress releases for me as well. So it's a personal journey. It's not just about the business. Keep your eye on that balance as well as an eye on your future profit. Now, what I'd like to, hope that helped. If you like, we've tried to, as a company, put all these tips into a program. And I'm proud to announce today, and I'm actually going to be running a group coaching program where we've got 10 business owners that we're pulling together, and I'm actually going to be running a program where each month I'm going to be helping those business owners to improve. Not only am I going to be doing it in my group here in Sydney, but we have 22 different other facilitators. Now, some of these facilitators have got so much experience. Some have got backgrounds like me, some have got financial backgrounds, some have got marketing. These are wonderful people with great background and knowledge and seriously good insight are running these courses once a month. So what we do is we get together with a business owner once a month, and if you look at the screen, it's a 3-hour meeting, it's face-to-face, where you come, and not only do you come, but you actually bring one of your key people. And what we're going to educate you then, and your key person is on a particular topic each month. So we're going to have a topic each month, and we're going to educate you on that, whether it's policies and procedures and that. But the education we're going to do is, instead of sort of talking theoretically, I hate theoretical sort of stuff, we're actually going to give you practical forms, practical templates, and actually pieces of software that you can implement in your business. It's all included in the course. So you actually start working on your business in that group with your key employee, and then you take that back home over the next, back to your other employees in the business, and you commit on, and we make you commit in the, or very nicely make you commit during the monthly sessions to implementing that with your staff. So you might commit to, I'm going to have a staff meeting on the 15th, and we're going to implement this topic and get the staff's input. So what we're trying to educate you to do is we give you a topic, we get it together, we educate you on a topic, we educate your key person, you motivate your key person, your key person is responsible for flowing that down and implementing it in your business. Then you complete that business plan, that valuation, that policy and procedures manual, that performance appraisal system that you've just developed, and then you bring it back that month to the next meeting, and we talk about it. We talk about how you went with that process, and we sort of motivate. So that's how it works in a nutshell. You bring that information back, we talk about it, and then the other thing we do is, remember I talked earlier on about the most important thing you can do as a business is to have a monthly review of your performance. Well, then we actually do that in this 3 months. So we get you, we almost act as an advisory board for each other, where we get you to split up and we present our results. Now, it's all confidential. I can explain that to you, but you're presenting your results, but you're not presenting your actual sales and profit, but you're presenting your growth rates on that and what successes you had. And you have to be accountable to it, and your key person has to be accountable to it. We then have, and we talk about, we've got 10 business owners, and you've got someone like myself or one of our fantastic facilitators that have got so much business advice and knowledge and insights. You might have a problem in the business. It might be, whether it's marketing, whether it's, whether or not you should employ somebody, whether it's the standards on wages, whatever it is, you can ask the question. So we go through and we have a question and answer. They're short, sharp and slick meetings, 3 hours, 3.5 sessions. The best thing we have done for business owners since I started the business. And I would love to have you involved. So as I said, we've got our first intake. I'm personally running 10 business owners through this, which I'm excited about. And we'll be running this again. I'll be running other courses during the year. So please, if this sounds like something you want to take in, I guarantee you, if you come to these sessions, your business will grow exponentially. It has to, with what we're going to provide you. And last thing on this group coaching is that the fee includes access to all our software. And if you've already got our software, then we'll discount it off the fee. The fee includes this wonderful training program. Fee includes access to all these videos that you can actually take back to your staff and implement with your staff. So you can actually implement everything we've got with all your staff, and we give you software as well. So all this software that all your employees can access as part of it as well. So a performance review system we're going to provide you, a document management system we're going to provide you, a sample set of policies and procedures and a system to maintain it, a business planning, financial budgets. It's all included in this one low cost fee for the program. So have a look at that, please. Love to get you involved. And as I said, we've got them running in the UK, we've got them running in the US, we've got them running in Malaysia. Thank you very much for your time, and all the best.